Now, K-drama fans, how many times have we shipped a K-drama couple so hard, only to find out they broke up? But not these couples. Somehow they made it work. And in 2026, despite the pressure, the rumors, and the spotlight, these relationships are still going strong. Here are 10 K-drama couples who are still together in real life. Let's go! 10. IU and Lee Jong-suk. On paper, these two look like a K-drama casting director's dream. But they're actually real, and they've been going strong since late 2022. They first crossed paths in 2012 as co-hosts on Inkigayo, but for years after that, they were just industry colleagues who stayed in the same circles. Nothing notable, nothing romantic. Things shifted when Lee Jong-suk won the Dice Song at the 2022 MBC Drama Awards on December 30th for Big Mouth. In his acceptance speech, he thanked someone he didn't name, someone who had helped him find his footing again after his military service, someone he said he'd liked and respected for a long time. Fans immediately started speculating, and the next day, Dispatch confirmed it was IU. Both agencies confirmed the relationship, and then both of them wrote letters to their fans. IU kept it warm and direct. She acknowledged they'd been colleagues for a long time, built on that quietly, and described him as reliable and cute. Lee Jong-suk's letter was more openly emotional. He compared her to the character Kang Dan-hee from his own drama, Romance is a Bonus Book, essentially saying she was his real-life version of his character's love interest, and wrote that even while living his own life, she always held a corner of his heart. Here's the thing that fans went absolutely feral over after the news broke. 2 months before the confirmation, IU had sung the congratulatory song at Lee Jong-suk's younger brother's wedding. She performed her cover of Meaning of You. Everyone at the time thought it was just a close friendship. After December 31st, people went back to that footage and realized she had shown up to his brother's wedding as his girlfriend. And nobody caught it. Not a single person. Then, shortly after the relationship was confirmed, he was spotted at a brand photo shoot wearing IU's Golden Hour concert merchandise, a hat from her 2022 tour. He wore his girlfriend's fan merch out in public. Only her fans would recognize it, which was probably the point. As of 2026, they've been publicly together for about 3 years. No couple photo shoots, no joint appearances for the sake of it. Just small signs that keep showing up quietly, the way this whole relationship has. 9. Choi Soo-young and Kyung-ho. As of 2026, these two have been together for roughly 13 years. At this point, they're less a celebrity couple and more just the industry's long-term relationship benchmark. They confirmed in 2014, though they'd already been dating for about a year by then. They met around 2012 through mutual friends. And for what it's worth, Kyung-ho was already a Girls' Generation fan before he ever met Soo-young, which fans love as a detail. What makes them stand out isn't a dramatic origin story, it's how consistently normal everything has been. They don't flood social media with each other, but they don't avoid the topic either. Kyung-ho has been especially open over the years, mentioning in interviews that outside of acting, she's essentially the center of his life, and that their relationship changed him, made him more grounded, helped him grow in ways he's actually specific about. He said it's thanks to her patience, and that he used to make a lot of mistakes, specifically mentioned drinking too much, and she stayed anyway while he figured it out. That kind of honesty is a big part of why people keep bringing them up. They also have 2 dogs, and one of them is named Ho-young. Kyung-ho has explained that the name is literally a combination of his name, Kyung-ho, and hers, Soo-young. They named their dog after themselves merged together. 13 years in, and they're still doing things like that. The moment fans always bring up, though, happened on a TV show called 3 Meals a Day, Doctors. He was filming outdoors, watching a sunset, and turned to his co-star to say Soo-young would really love this view. Seconds later, his phone rang. It was her. He picked up and said, "Jagia, I was literally just looking at the sunset thinking about you, and you called." Viewers didn't know what to do with that. Neither did he, honestly. He seemed just as surprised as everyone watching. 8. Lee Kwang-soo and Lee Sun-bin. This one started as what felt like a running joke and turned into one of the most quietly solid relationships in the industry. They met on Running Man in 2016, and what people remember is that Lee Sun-bin openly said Lee Kwang-soo was her ideal type on the show. The cast laughed it off. Lee Kwang-soo has a long history of comedic swooning over actresses that goes nowhere, but this time, something actually happened. Lee Sun-bin later clarified that despite her public comment, it was actually him who made the first move and consistently put in the effort to build something. They confirmed in December 2018 and have been together for about 8 years publicly as of 2026. What fans notice is how genuinely ordinary it all feels. They go on regular dates, eat out, don't hide, but don't perform either. When Lee Kwang-soo talked about their relationship on a show in 2025, he mentioned they'd been together around 8 or 9 years and were doing well. And when the topic of breaking up came up, he said very flatly that they weren't. No drama, just certainty. 7. Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-ah. Married now, but the real story is what it took to get there. They first met in early 2015 while filming a Giordano campaign. By July 2015, both agencies confirmed they were dating. From that point, they did what they've always done, kept things almost entirely private. No couple content, barely any public appearances together, no real-time updates, just two people quietly in a relationship. Then, in 2017, Kim Woo-bin was diagnosed with nasopharyngeal cancer and stepped away from the industry entirely. Shin Min-ah stayed. Her agency said simply that she was helping him focus on his treatment. She never made a statement about it, never used it to generate goodwill, never turned it into a narrative. She was just there. What came out, later revealed at the wedding by the Buddhist monk Pomyun Sunim, who officiated the ceremony, is that during Kim Woo-bin's worst period, Shin Min-ah carried a sack of rice on her head to pray at the Avalokitesvara statue on Namsan in Gyeongju, a traditional Buddhist offering, even though she isn't Buddhist. She didn't talk about it. Nobody knew until the monk shared it during his wedding address, 3 days after the ceremony. They got married on December 20th, 2025, in a private ceremony at the Shilla Hotel in Seoul, 10 years after they started dating. And one detail about the wedding itself says a lot about who they are. The song they chose was Romantic Sunday, the OST from Shin Min-ah's drama Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. Out of everything available, they picked a song from one of her most beloved projects to play at their wedding. And then there's this. They actually appeared together in Our Blues in 2022, playing completely separate storylines with no connection to each other on screen. They were a real couple making a drama together and actively chose not to use their chemistry for the show. That one detail probably says more about them than anything else. 6. Park Shin-hye and Choi Tae-joon. These two are a textbook case of a friendship that turned into something more, slowly and without a lot of announcement. They met as students at Chungang University and had already appeared on screen together in The King of Dramas in 2012, playing a couple. For years after that, they were just known as close friends in the same industry circles. Dating rumors started in 2017, sightings kept coming up, but both of them said they were just close. Park Shin-hye even joked that she'd announce it when she gets married. They confirmed in March 2018 without much fanfare. Going back to The King of Dramas now is a little funny, because in 2012, they were playing a couple on screen before they were ever actually one. Fans love that detail. The show had it right, years before they did. They dated quietly for 4 years, and then in November 2021, dropped a double announcement, marriage and pregnancy, both at once, through personal letters to fans. And the way they each described the other in those letters is the detail that keeps circulating. Park Shin-hye wrote that he embraced all of her fully. Choi Tae-joon wrote that she helped him learn how to express his emotions more honestly. Two people describing the exact same relationship from opposite directions. She felt fully accepted, he felt fully opened up, and the descriptions fit together like they were written to match. Fans have been talking about that symmetry ever since. They married on January 22, 2022, in a private ceremony in Seoul. Their son was born May 31, 2022. As of 2026, they've been married for 4 years, and there's still almost nothing dramatic to report, which, given who they are, is probably exactly how they'd want it. 5. Eugene and Ki Tae-young, 15 years in. As of 2026, and their story is one of the more honest ones in the industry about what actually makes a relationship last. They met filming Creating Destiny in 2009, where they played a couple, but Ki Tae-young has been upfront that they weren't really close for most of the shoot. 4 months of polite greetings, not much more. What changed things for him wasn't a big moment. It was noticing that she never spoke badly about other people and was consistent in how she treated everyone around her. That got his attention. They started talking more, got closer, and married in July 2011, with marriage already in mind when they started dating. They now have 2 daughters and have appeared together on The Return of Superman, where people got to see them as parents rather than just actors. What Ki Tae-young has said publicly over the years is more grounded than the usual celebrity relationship commentary. He talks openly about how respect is the thing that actually holds a marriage together over time, and acknowledges plainly that Eugene carries a significant share of the load. He doesn't try to package their relationship as perfect. That honesty is a big part of why people keep bringing them up. And then there's this. Ki Tae-young didn't just propose, he composed and performed an original song for the proposal. Wrote it, sang it, delivered it as the event. He also reportedly brought homemade lunchboxes to her drama sets. He was literally ranked on a TV program as one of Korea's most romantic celebrity husbands for this. Ki Tae-young showed up and made every other husband on the list look like they weren't trying. 4. Lee Byung-hun and Lee Min-jung. This one isn't a perfect story, and neither of them has tried to make it one. They first met in 2006 through mutual connections, dated briefly, and then broke up. Partly timing, partly distance. Lee Min-jung has said that after the breakup, she cut contact completely, didn't return his calls. Years later, they reconnected, and this time it stuck. They confirmed their relationship in 2012 and married on August 10, 2013. Then came 2014. Lee Byung-hun was caught up in a widely covered blackmail and extortion case that generated months of tabloid coverage and a lot of speculation about his personal life. He publicly apologized. Lee Min-jung was pregnant at the time and chose to stay entirely out of the public eye. No statements, no appearances, just silence while everything played out around them. Instead of reacting publicly, they chose to move through it quietly. They've now been married for over 12 years. In December 2023, they welcomed a second child, a daughter. Lee Min-jung has a YouTube channel where she occasionally shares bits of daily family life, and she's become known for one very specific habit. Whenever fans ask about her husband on camera, she deflects with a joke, moves the camera, or just smoothly changes the subject. Every time, it's become its own recurring bit, and viewers find it funnier with each new instance because it's clearly completely intentional. She's protecting his privacy while making it entertaining, which is very her. 3. Rain and Kim Tae-hee. The version of this story Rain tells on himself is genuinely funny. She rejected him around 5 times. They met in 2012 filming a commercial, and by his own account, there were no sparks on her end. She thought he wasn't really her type, specifically said she preferred someone more handsome. To be clear, Rain is, by any conventional standard, one of the most attractive people in the Korean entertainment industry. The fact that she looked at him and said he wasn't handsome enough has lived rent-free in fans' heads ever since. He called anyway, asked her out, got turned down again, tried again. The actual turning point was mundane. He reached out while in the military, they ended up meeting for a meal, and things slowly changed from there. By January 2013, Kim Tae-hee's agency confirmed. They were in the early stages of getting to know each other. They dated quietly for 4 years. In January 2017, Rain shared a handwritten letter announcing their marriage, and they held a small private wedding shortly after. Kim Tae-hee wrote her own letter to fans the same week. Their first daughter was born October 25, 2017. Their second, September 19, 2019. Both confirmed through brief official statements. As of 2026, they've been married for 9 years, still operating the same way they always have. Quiet updates when there's something to share, nothing when there isn't. And somewhere out there, Rain is presumably still a little smug about the 5 rejections. 2. Hyun Bin and Son Ye-jin. The co-stars to married couple arc is common enough in K-entertainment that it can feel like a formula. This one felt different because of how it actually started, and because of a detail that, in hindsight, reads like a soft prediction. They first worked together in the 2018 film The Negotiation, and in that movie, they barely share any screen time. Almost all of their scenes were filmed separately, communicating through monitors. After the shoot, Hyun Bin said in an interview that he remembers thinking it would be really fun to do a proper romantic comedy with her. That thought eventually led to Crash Landing on You. He basically wished the relationship into existence through a desire for a different kind of project with her. Then, in 2019, they reunited for Crash Landing on You, which became one of the most watched Korean dramas of its era. The dating rumors started before the show even finished airing. Both sides denied it. On January 1st, 2021, it was confirmed. They announced their engagement on February 10th, 2022, through personal letters and married on March 31st, 2022, in a private ceremony. Their son was born November 27th, 2022. There's a behind-the-scenes clip from the Crash Landing on You set that fans always bring up. Son Ye-jin couldn't stop smiling at Hyun Bin's face mid-scene, and they had to redo the take. She also played with his hair before the cameras rolled on a hospital scene. The bloopers for that show are basically a documentary of two people quietly falling for each other, filmed and archived without anyone realizing what was actually happening. After their son was born and Hyun Bin was filming his next drama, Son Ye-jin sent a food truck to the set. The truck was decorated with photos of him, including a throwback still from Crash Landing on You. She used a photo from the show where it all started to decorate a surprise for her husband on the set of his next job. That's the kind of detail that makes people feel things they weren't expecting to feel about a food truck. 1. Ji-sung and Lee Bo-young. 12+ years of marriage, 2 kids, and still no dramatic storyline to report. That's basically the whole review. They met in 2004 on the set of Save the Last Dance for Me. Lee Bo-young has said she didn't particularly like him at first. Ji-sung kept reaching out anyway. At one point, while they were out with a group of friends, he slipped a note into her bag that just said, "I like you." She found it later. When she told him she couldn't date another celebrity, he told her he would give up acting for her. She has since admitted on a talk show, laughing, "I was tricked," because he very much did not give up acting. 3 months of rejection, 1 note in a bag, 1 dramatic offer, and it eventually worked. They went public in 2007, announced their engagement through handwritten letters to fans in August 2013, and married on September 27, 2013. The proposal, it turns out, happened in Spain during a pre-wedding photo shoot. A huge amplifier appeared on the street outside their hotel during a break. Ji-sung came out with a microphone and read her a letter. Lee Bo-young started to tear up, and then he began to sing. She has said the crying just stopped. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so the tears went away on their own. Their daughter was born June 2015. Their son, February 2019. Both children's names loop back to Lee Bo-young. The nicknames Bo-bae and Bo-ah, the son's actual name Kwak Bo-ah. Everything in this family quietly references her, and Ji-sung has never tried to be subtle about that. When he sends food trucks to her drama sets, the banners say things like, "To the most lovable actress in the world," in public, for the whole crew to read. He's been doing this for years, and the energy has never changed. Nothing about their relationship has ever felt like a statement. He slipped a note into a bag. She said no. He said he'd give up everything. She laughed and said yes eventually, and 20+ years later, they're still sending each other food trucks with banners that say things nobody else would put in writing. And that wraps up our list. Honestly, love really does feel in the air with these couples, and hopefully they continue to stay strong for years to come. So, who's your favorite couple? Let me know in the comments. I always read them. And if you're looking for your next watch, click here to check out the K-dramas currently airing that you shouldn't miss.